Welcome to today's episode. Today I have Jasmin Moore. She's a multi six figure business mentor who helps high performing coaches expand their influence, income, and impact online to become high paying leaders. I love your description and I would love to hear more. Jasmin, welcome. How are you today? And tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. So good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. So, about me, yeah, so multi six figure business mentor, make sure that was clear. But so much more that I find it's so easy to look at like the titles of people and get really caught up on then the meanings that we attach to these things as well. But I think in reality, what I'm really passionate about, what I really love helping women with specifically, like yourself, is looking at how we can be holding more wealth energetically, but also bringing in the actual cash flow months that we really want to. Because when we're doing that, we're creating more options for ourselves. And I think the best thing I love about all of this, when we talk about money, is the fact that there's such a strong correlation between money and leadership, and money and energy, and how we're showing,
Mm,
we're serving clients at a really high level. So when it comes to high ticket sales, that's definitely my jam. And of course, high ticket leadership, I think, is a big
mm.
part of that as well. So I'm really excited to dive in and let's just explore, yeah, what comes up with this conversation around such a important topic that I think now more than ever is something that the world is really ready to hear as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's a perfect moment. More and more people are becoming entrepreneurs after the pandemic. It's like an awakening that's happening
Mm,
right now. There is this new paradigm of leadership that, as you said, money is not only money. It's not just that
mm,
six figure that you have in your bank account, but it's also about how you lead yourself in this process, how what type of business you create. Like, do you
mm,
burn yourself down to the ground to have those six figures, or it's you create something that can be a legacy for future generations and feels
mhm,
good for your body and like
mm,
allows you to have space to also do
mhm,
your morning rituals and take care of
mhm.
yourself and do some massages during the week and all
Exactly.
those good things.
Mm,
Yes.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
today we will be diving into a topic which I think is really valuable for our market, especially as coaches, as entrepreneurs. Why is your high level program not selling right now? And it's a topic that I discuss all the time with my clients who they have so many reasons why their high ticket programs not selling. Some of them are the not good enough one that shows up where who am I to ask for this amount. Another could be like an income plateau that they reach for being many months or even years to a certain income in their bank account, and they got used to receiving like only five figures or something like that. So there are some multiple reasons, and I'm sure that we will dive into this today, but I'm really excited to hear your perspective on this.
I think it's such a great question to dive into because, like you said, there are so many reasons that comes up with my clients as well, where they just don't understand maybe why this may not be happening as fast as they want to. The client conversions, why isn't it selling out? And okay, so there's so many different things that we could talk about this, right? So I think for me, when I was thinking about how to best bring this message across in the time that we have as well, I think there's really three key things that really stand out for me from a business and like an energetics coaching perspective. The first one, looking at the office specifically. So I think, I think it's really important that we say from the get go that, a high ticket offer isn't just a matter of, here's my program and it's 10K, because it doesn't really quite work like that. You can't just stick a high ticket price point on it and then just call it a high ticket offer and expect it to sell. And there's so much we can go into in terms of expectation and entitlement as well. But I see coaches do this a lot in the space where they raise their prices without really thinking about the actual service delivery and the leadership that really needs to come with it so they can be positioning themselves as an actual premium service. And I think the real key thing here to selling out your high ticket offers is making sure you're really focusing on the results part of it as well. I think we really forget that people want to pay an expert, and the whole reason that they want to pay an expert is to help them to collapse time, number one, and really accelerate their results.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being within the embodiment and the energy of what it means to walk with somebody who is, you and your values and how you move through the world and everything that comes along with it, the energy, proximity, all the good stuff. And so that's why, for me, when I'm working with my clients, what's really clear is, like 12-week programs, 8-week programs, these containers with, just fortnightly calls or lots of emphasis on the bonuses and resources, that just doesn't cut it in this day and age necessarily anymore. And a professional, because we want to be working with professionals, right? People that are really invested in their own personal growth and achieving their dreams. We're not here to really convince people to become that. We want to work with the people
Yeah.
that really are just leaning in fully to being, the leader that they want to be in their own lives. And these people, what I've found over my years of doing this, they really care about meaningfully investing into themselves. They do. And the way that we're going to be capturing their attention, let alone really offering something that's going to be of best service for these people that really care about getting to the results, care about collapsing time, care about embodying more of the energy that you do as a leader, because clearly you've gotten to where you are now, and there's secrets and clues and ways of moving through the world which have allowed you to do that, is really looking at cutting the fluff. We're not in school
Mm-hmm.
anymore. We don't need to be given homework or like weekly resources or things to do. I think what we really want to be looking at instead is looking at creating containers where the whole focus is on taking action, leveling up, integrating what we need to do, and really moving forward with speed to really receive the results that we're ready for. I think often coaches, they get trapped, and you probably find this too, where they think that, okay, well, if something is going to be charged like a greater value, it means that, okay, well, the more value means I need to add more time, or more value means doing more for the clients, or more value
Mm-hmm.
means adding more things. And so I
Yes.
think that really gets us trapped up in this energy of trying to prove, which isn't a high
Mm-hmm.
ticket, high value woman type of energy. And they're coming from a place of the proving energy to try and fit the price tag. It's also really detrimental to positioning them as an authority within their brand, and it isn't maximizing or prioritizing service delivery and transformation for clients in the most effective way possible, I find, which of course is going to lead to, less clients signing on, because there's, the energy is such a big part of that. And the fact that they're not standing out of the crowd, they're just sort of going with and presenting an offer like everybody else is. But also like lower client retention in terms of having clients that want to stay in their world when it comes to longer term support, the lower cash flow months, and a lot of the burning out, because again, we're driving this energy from a place of trying to prove, trying to make sure we're feeling like we're validating our own worth by putting something out there that's valuable, and it doesn't necessarily quite work like that. That would
No.
definitely be the first thing that I would find
Oh my
is
God.
the biggest thing for clients.
I already have so many questions for you. So, first of all, I've met coaches that were like, okay, I'm doing this for so many years and I just want to raise my prices and I just want to have this 10K month. So, I will make a high ticket offer. Okay,
Mm,
but what do you offer for that high ticket offer? So, it's a
mhm,
difference between you having a really high valuable service that you can charge high ticket offer and not feeling good enough. So yeah, we can work on the not feeling good enough one, and the difference between I just want to make more money out of ego and not having backed up by your value, by your services, by
mm,
your results. And then you need to work on what you offer so you can back up that high ticket offer.
mhm,
And I love how you made this difference in the beginning. Also, my personal story is that when I first raised my prices, I offered 2 hour sessions instead of one. I started offering summary emails after the sessions,
mhm,
creating more courses because I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to charge this high ticket price. And coming from like corporations where like
mm,
the price for one offer was like my salary for a whole month, and this was like a 3 month offer, and I felt like an imposter. I felt, who am I to
mm.
charge this
Yeah.
much, so much money? So I need to prove it to my clients that this work is deserving of that
Mm,
amount. And I realized that doing that only allowed me to have like 3 clients, because I
Yep.
didn't had time. Like one session with all the emails and preparations, and the 2 hour session lasts for
Hmm.
4 hours per day, so I couldn't have like more than 2 clients per day. And I realized that I am only doing a disservice to myself and to other clients that could be served by me in that time. And
Exactly.
it's, as you said, like if you don't have a mentor, in that time of my business I didn't have a mentor to advise me that, so I lost like months realizing this. So as you
Mm-hmm.
said, when you're working with someone, you're paid to have this quantum leap, because they already gone through those challenges,
Hmm.
and you can learn these things in time and not
Yes.
waste time and money and frustration and burnout, as you said as well. So I
Exactly.
already love the first thing.
100%. I think, you're not alone there, Andrea. I think even for me too, I've definitely been on that path, particularly when I was in the beginning. And again, it comes from this place of, wow, like you're playing around with money that you didn't maybe think was possible for you or that you could charge before. So of course you're going to be meeting some edges where it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be met with, yeah, having to do the work, that mindset work, the energy work to realize, actually, you know what, 10K is not a lot of money. You know what, 10K, I'm so worthy of that. 10K,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
the cost justification, the change that my clients are going to receive, the generational impact when you can lean into and play with all that and make that really light and really start seeing your worth in that. Again, you start to realize, of course, it's not about how much work you do. Because, like you said, it's so easy to think that you need to do more. And then what happens? We burn out. And, like you said, it's not a disservice for you and it's not in your best service for your clients either. And when we've come in here to business, right? Because we want more freedom as well. We want more of the lifestyle. We want to be in control a little
Yeah.
bit more of our lives. How can we do that if we're constantly leaning into this people pleasing energy of needing to do more when
Yes.
actually that's not what your client really needs to even get the best transformations and results that they want in their life. So love the vulnerability there and can definitely relate to that in my own world. I think we all need to almost sort of go through that process or experience in a way to come out the other side and be like, oh, okay,
Yes.
I see it now. I get it. Why, maybe staying in the low ticket realm or staying in this place where I'm constantly questioning my worth actually is a really costly thing to do to the business.
Exactly. And
Mm,
guess what? Sometimes the lesson is exactly you putting boundaries, because if you
mm,
are a people pleaser and you are like, I need to overcompensate, I need to overgive, and this comes from a people pleasing like tendency, the universe, let's say, will not give you more clients, because if you would have more clients, then you get into a burnout and you will stop doing what you do, and like not follow your path anymore. So
mhm,
in order for you to get into your next level, you need to learn to set your boundaries with yourself, and
mm,
stop the 2 hour sessions, stop the 2 hour long messages with your clients all the time, and the things that are time consuming and money, like that brings you less money. So that was my lesson. That was what
mm,
I learned from doing those months of overcompensating. I learned that I need to set some boundaries. And when I set
mm.
that those boundaries, it's when I had my biggest month
Of
from
course.
my business up until that point. Yes. So this is one of the things that I work with my clients when are trying to overcompensate. Then we work on boundaries. How do you work with your clients if they are in this stage of overcompensating, giving too many bonuses and long hour sessions and all of these things? What's your advice for them?
Hmm. Well, what we usually do is look at really deep diving and go into the actual model of what they're doing. So, of course, we're looking at the offer creation, we look at brand, we look at the sales, marketing, all the things, leadership, energetics behind it all, the service delivery. But there's also looking at, okay, well, let's look at the way that we're creating business right now. Let's look at the way that we're processing and doing this. Is there more effective and meaningful and overall transformational ways for both you and the client that means that you don't have to be doing all these different sessions all the time. That means that there's actually something where you don't have to be checking in all the time. So it's looking at the boundaries 100% and raising the standards and getting really clear cut on what they really are to be making like 100K months within your business. but also looking at the actual model and the way that we're doing things as well. So that's why I look at when I'm working with my clients, is not just sort of looking at, okay, let me try and integrate with what's already happening here. Sometimes it can work like that. Often it's looking at, okay, let's actually go for a really extreme, exciting business makeover, let's say, and look at how we can change up the
Mm-hmm.
elements that are, because yes, you can put boundaries in place, but we also want to be mindful, I think, sometimes that the boundaries aren't being used as band-aids, really, when there's actually some underlying
Mm-hmm.
foundational work within the business on the strategy and energetic side that's really going to propel you forward in not just the cash flow ways, but of course in every single way possible, because you've now got something, a business, a model that actually supports your highest value. It supports you being in the most relaxed state possible. It supports your nervous system. It supports the leadership of the clients. I think that's where I really like to take things quite deep. And I find that's when clients get the best results as well, because it's sort of looking at it from every single angle. But of course, offer creation is just one thing. I think another thing is understanding, I think we touched on this a little bit too, that the high ticket offer, just because you have a high level offer, it doesn't necessarily make you a profitable brand. Right. And I think it's really important to like not
Mm-hmm.
talk about just the high ticket offer and why that isn't selling out without also looking at, okay, well, what's actually happening with your brand? Let's put the offer to the side for a moment. What's going on in the world of brand? Because offer creation, at least in my work with my clients, can take like 30 to 50 minutes. It doesn't have to take long at all, and we can launch it in the same day. But brand is something that, of course, it doesn't actually have to take a long time to be building, brand trust within the space. But brand is something that's really going to, it's like the gateway, I like to call it, between, attracting the clients in, them actually even seeing your offer and then them being drawn to that, let alone just you and wanting to work with you, regardless of what it is that you sell. But there's this energy of just like, I don't know what it is, I don't know what she does, I don't even know how she does it, but I want
Mm-hmm.
to be in that world, right? So I think where a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
go wrong, what I see is that with the brand and marketing, is that there's a lot of people that try to just look at going through the motions of, posting, or they see all these exciting things that look successful, right? And they try and, copy all these things and look at all these other people that are, doing well and look successful. And I think in the process, they lose the potency of their own message, and they lose, what it actually means to stand behind their own truth and deliver that in a way where there's
Mm-hmm.
real just conviction and passion and 110% belief in who it is that they are. It always comes back to the self-worth stuff, right? And I think with that too, if we really want to stand out against the grain, if we really want our voice to be heard and for us to be seen, I think there's always that level where we have to, of course, there's lots of strategy when it comes to the brand thing, which we don't have enough sort of time and capacity for here. But I think it
Mm-hmm.
always does come back down to looking at, okay, well, are we actually, as much as we want to be seen for who we are, as much as we really want to be heard, how much are we actually holding ourselves back from that because we're really afraid to be seen and we're afraid to be heard? And how much we can look at the behaviors, right, that we're doing in our lives that support or repel that. It's the fact that if you're looking at what other people are doing all the time and trying to copy, these people that seem inspirational for you, it doesn't matter, even if you did try to copy, and the words that you use, because it is just an energy at the end of the day. And the more that we can connect that back to what your true message is and really be leaning forward with that, like that's where of course your real magnetism comes, because ownership is magnetic
Mm-hmm.
AF. So I think for me too, a second
Mm-hmm.
point here would be looking at the branding side of things. Like, how are you actually positioning yourself? Are you positioning yourself? And I think even a stronger word than positioning here is actually just owning the fact that you're an expert within your space, and how are you delivering and showing up like that? There's a totally different energy between that person and somebody who is, just aspiring as a coach to sell something online. It's like CEO energy or just little coach energy. Is that making sense?
Yes, a lot of sense, of course. And I love how you combine like business strategy with energetics, and because it's both of them. Like you can have the best strategy, if
Mm,
you're not behind it and it doesn't feel aligned with you, then it will feel off. It
yes.
just feels off for the people seeing you online, even if you post 100 times or do
Hmm.
lives or show up on stories daily. Like it can feel that it's not alignment there. And also you
Hmm.
can feel the most aligned ever and you can have a really good message, but I've had a lot of clients like this. They don't know how to share their services online. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to translate their voice in the
Mm.
online space. Like, they are the best healers face to face. Like, if you
Yes.
meet them,
Mm-hmm.
they change your life in one session. But then they don't know, like, they're resistant, they don't know how to pose, they don't know how to
Mm.
translate their language, their natural way of speaking, and they're copying things. And it's like these two tendencies that are more obvious,
Mm.
and both of them need the polarity, to
Yeah.
attune to the polarity.
Yeah.
I love this. So this was just the first thing that you wanted to share, and you have two more things regarding why is you're not high ticket offer selling,
Mm.
where you
So that was
just
the second
you
thing.
went through the second thing. Okay, yeah, great, great. I love this. These are like huge shifts that from the outside it doesn't seem so much, but
Mm.
when you're actually doing them, and in the beginning, yeah, we're more like the strategy and posting and doing things, but then it's also about sitting with yourself, doing the, energetic part of translating your energy, creating an offer that feels like you feel safe to be seen, exactly as you said, which is another core part in my process as well, like working with the fear of being seen, feeling safe in your body to be successful, because we may say that we want to be successful, and this is the most
Mm.
common theme that I see in women
Mm.
entrepreneurs. I want success, I want money, I want all of that, but when it comes to actually doing the action, I'm resistant, I'm afraid, I procrastinate,
Mm.
I compare myself with
Mhm.
other entrepreneurs, and they
Mhm.
stick in this over analyzing, way of leading their business, and they end up doing nothing. So
Exactly.
yes,
And then
fear
they're
of
like, "Why
success
isn't
is
this
like the
working? I'm
yes,
doing all the
exactly.
things." Mhm. And
Yes,
yeah, but it's
but
like there's
not the things.
always. Sorry, go on.
No, but not the things that actually move the needle.
Exactly, exactly. All the things except the things that we're likely avoiding because we are resisting. And it's
Yes,
it's funny because that's really it at the end of the day. Like when we can actually sit back with ourselves and look at the things that we're resisting and get the help, invest in a mentor that is doing the things and that you really vibe with and is living a lifestyle that really aligns with you, because again, you can, like you said at the very beginning, you can make six figures, you can make $1 million. That's all good and well, but how are you being behind the scenes? Like, how do you live your life? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Do you have time for all the things that you want to do? Or are you just busy sat behind a laptop all day? Like,
hmm,
it really comes back down
exactly.
to that at the end of the day as well. There was something else I really wanted to say there, and
Yes.
I feel like it slipped my mind for a moment. I'm sure it'll come back. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying this conversation as well. It's really, like you said, I think it's easy to see these things as such basic things, but when you really have taken yourself through all of this and you can look at the perspective that you now have, being like, this is how I got to 100K months. This is how like all these things are happening. You can't ignore the simplicity of some of the things that we're saying here, because there's actually so much depth to it at the end of the day. And so, again, just being mindful of time as well. I think it's the depth of all these things that we're talking about. And there is so many more things that we can talk about as well. But of course, looking at the offer itself is really important. Looking at the brand is really important, exactly how you're translating and communicating your message. Because, like you said, you can be the best healer, the best coach, the best health professional, whatever it is out there, doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to translate that and communicate that in a way where people are going to evoke action, and not from a place of like any kind of shame or guilt, but from a place of desire, from a place of like there's an aligned values there. And they
Hmm.
just feel the energy. They just know that this is something that I want. I'm invested, I need help, let's go make it work. I think the other thing too
Hmm.
is and I think we've touched on this as well, but the selling side of things, like there's the offer creation in itself and the pricing structures and the everything that goes on with that, which is so much in itself. Then there's the branding, which is so much in itself as well. And then there's the actual sales side of things, and there's obviously more around that. But with the sales, what I find, for me at least, and my clients too, I think where a lot of coaches go wrong as well, they're trying to sell like a high ticket offer as if it's the same as sort of selling anything, and they'll use like, here's a link to book in like a 15-minute discovery call or an application form to fill out, or here's like all these sale pages and websites and payment plans and bonuses and lots of backbending for the clients, lots of energy going into trying to get a yes to get a client over the line. And I think you know, when it comes to high ticket selling and really selling out your programs, because there's no reason why you can't be selling out, 10K offers and doing that in a really easeful, really light way where clients really want to pay you and it feels really beautiful exchange. I think you have to know the art and science of transformational selling, right? It's this duality of both, because like we've been saying, you can know all the strategy, doesn't mean anything unless you've got the art that's really there, and vice versa. It's how I'm able to sell,
Mm-hmm.
five and multiple five-figure calls to pre-sold clients who, they pay me on the one call, and or at least, a deposit, and they always manage to get it the remaining to me within 24 to 72 hours. They find a way because they want to. And you'd be so surprised, you probably find with this with your clients as well, like how when you raise your standards of the life that you're living, how that application call within itself can be absolutely life changing. At least for my clients, I often, they love the way I do things because it is quite different. And they come to the end of a sales call or an application call, and they already feel like they've gotten the value of like working with me, which is really cool. And again, the value of being able to look at how you can do things differently, like take that step back. And I think one area where coaches go wrong here, they, like we've talked about, they make the money a really big deal, right? And there's this attachment to the biggest sale, and then that what that means for them personally. And instead of normalizing 10K, instead of just actually
Mm-hmm.
being there to serve and putting themselves out of the equation, they they bring all of that to the table. And I'm sure it actually comes from this place of where, of course, you really want to help. Like, of course, that's what we're here to do. First,
Yes.
we want to be in here for the lifestyle. We want to be in here to make meaningful, generational wealth. But at the same time, we want to be here because we want to make meaningful impact in people's lives. And we just know if somebody's like in our orbit, like how much we can help them to change their life. But when you can put that aside, and again, there doesn't have to be any of this convincing energy or scarcity energy around that, and practice that whole unattachment piece to the calls, of course it means you're going to be able to show up. Of course it means you're going to be able to listen more closely to the energetic shifts that's happening in the call that you can
Mm-hmm.
address and pick up on before they become these unspoken underlying frequencies that kind of scatter the whole conversation and lead to maybe disempowering decisions that actually weren't in alignment with what you wanted to make in the first place anyway. And I think if you don't work on that emotional
Yes.
capacity and your nervous system to be holding, the meaningful money that you want to be, and to be being unattached on calls as well. And there's so many different things that we can talk about within sales. It's huge. I love sales. But I think on an emotional side of things, if we're not cleaning up the energy here, we can have this leaky, energy, leaky behaviors coming into our world where again, it isn't supportive of you or the client at the end of the day. And so, yes, it's all good to have an incredible brand. It's all good and well to have an incredible offer. But if you don't know how to sell out your services in a way that is meaningful, is in a way that is full of you holding yourself, but also your clients to high standards as well, I think it's going to be really hard to to sell out your services, because we're not. Again, it's a package, right? Like high ticket just isn't a high, like a price tag. High ticket is
Mm-hmm.
a way of being almost, and it gets to be really fun. It gets to be really exciting. So that would probably be my three things if I was to really break it down.
I love how you structured your presentation today. Let's say it's like you did a keynote presentation. I love that. So much value from what you shared. I think that we, as coaches, as healers, we especially get attached to our offers because, as
Mm,
you said, we want to help and we share our work, and
mm,
our work comes from our healing, from our own
yes.
transformation. So
Very
because
personal.
I went through my parent divorce, to like lack, like scarcity mindset, to really hard corporational years, all of those times of my lives made me in a position where I was vulnerable. I needed tools. I learned. I created a process, and that process that comes from that vulnerability, now I am sharing with the world. So of course that
Mm.
Money is a result of our work in the world.
Yes.
So it's normal in the beginning to attach to the outcome and be okay. I have so much healing to offer, but I
Mhm.
don't have money in my bank account. And
Mm.
it's normal to feel frustrated and to feel attached because it's your creation. It's like your baby in a way. But
Mm.
part of getting to expand is to detach a little bit from that and learn that it's your work, but you also, as to be more successful and to have more impact, you need to hold more space for people. You
Mm.
need to make your healing more accessible. You need to show up online. You need to get over your fears and to be able to promote yourself better because you also need money. So yes, it's really
Mhm.
sweet that you are a healer and that you want to share in the world, but also money
Mhm.
money, it's important to have money as well and to value your
Yes.
services because this will help you to be in this area of expertise for more years. Like if you're struggling with money and always offering your services for free because you only want to heal the world, then at some
Mm.
point you will end up in a point really sweet and not wanting to do this anymore and
Yeah.
going back to your 9 to 5 job because that
Mhm.
was at least safe.
Yeah.
So each lesson has its importance. Even
Mhm.
owning your money, like your relationship with money, it's really important. And um, I had so many ideas from what you shared, but I don't know if I remember all. I love how you shared about selling and combining energetics with strategies as well, and about the leaky things. And yes, I remembered when I worked with a business coach. She created like a structure for me to have in a sales call, like for high ticket offer, and that script was so boring, like so boring and so
Yeah.
not me,
Mm.
didn't sound at me like at all. I
Mm.
tried doing it one time. I tried doing it and I felt like I was dying. Like I couldn't convince myself that I want to sell that offer. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh my
no.
god, yes, how can I sell?"
Mm.
Even like I needed to overcome the fear of selling a high ticket price and also overcoming like my resistance towards following a script that didn't sound like me.
Mm.
So, and she was like, "Don't give anything free in your call, don't share anything from your work, just share how you can help them," and something like that. And I was like, "No, I'm not like this. I want my clients to experience transformation from the first interaction we have together."
Mm.
So for me it feels the best to have like a short meditation in the beginning to align to each other, so I can guide you in this process, so we can connect with your subconscious desires, not with the desires that you think you have, because everybody comes in, it's like, "I want to make 10K months and I want to have 10 clients and I have," and then we get up to this point where in our process later on, "I just want to be happy, I just want to be
Mm.
fulfilled,
What do
I
you
just want to."
know?
Yes, exactly. Like underlying themes. So for me, it feels good in our first free call, application call. So I can guide you in a short hypnosis. In this way, you experience my work, you see my energy. I can feel your energy as well, and I can guide you directly to the place where your desires lies in your body and in your subconscious mind, like your true desires, not the desires that you think you have. Because
Mm.
if they come to me with the desires that they think they have, then I offer them a program that it's only for their conscious mind, it's not for their who they truly are deep down.
Exactly.
So that's why it's important in my work to go through with them through this process from the beginning, because I need to offer them a program that is exactly for their authentic selves. And from this
Mm.
place they will get to sell best and create the best offers and have the most aligned business.
Mm.
So
I'm so glad that
yeah,
you
I
said that.
love
So glad that you said that too,
Thank
because isn't that a huge like place where coaches get tripped up to? They try to sell like a cookie cutter thing instead of looking at this.
Yeah.
This is a unique person in front of me. What does this person actually need right now? What are the problems that are coming up for them that need solving? Where are their desires that are coming from? Actually, like what it is they truly want. Like you said, not just like money, this and all that, but like what is actually really underneath
Yeah.
it. And of course, when you're creating something that is for that person, like of course it's going to be so much more valuable than just another cookie cutter thing that you're trying to sell to get somebody over the line to play into their ego, right? Which of course isn't
Hmm.
what we want. Like you said, so much of this comes back down to happiness. Like let's just create a business, a
Hmm.
lifestyle,
Exactly.
a legacy, this impact that makes us truly happy. And I think something you mentioned before there too, which is so important, like there's such a big sort of stereotype around like the broke healer, where like you said, it's like you want to give, and there's so much energy around giving that it's almost like if taking is like become a bad thing, when in reality you can't give without the taking. Like it's this beautiful ebb and flow that the universe just kind of moves with. So if we're afraid of
Hmm.
taking, if we're afraid of owning our worth, like are we really healing the world? Are we really putting out the energy that says like this is what I'm doing from a place of real integrity? And again, it comes from a place of wanting to help, but usually there's that shadow work underneath it that you got to dive into. And I love doing that
Yes.
with my clients too, where it's looking at the deeper stuff that's really holding you back from actually living into the message, actually conveying that in the way that you want to as well. Amazing conversation, absolutely so much gold that's come through here.
Yeah.
Loving this so far.
Yeah, I could stay until your night, my morning,
Yes.
to keep the conversation going on.
Absolutely.
Yes, you're right. I love everything you shared, and from what you shared with me and with us, with everybody listening, I'm sure that you have like an amazing practice. And let me know, like, what are your offerings right now? What are you sharing with the world? How can our listeners work with you at the moment?
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Andrea. So I think what the best way to really get in contact with me is probably just through Instagram. Is how we linked up, and I'm sure you'll provide the details in there as well. But it's I am Jasmin Moore,
Yes.
and there's a really great space to be plugging in and understanding a little bit more about my world and who it is that I am. And if there's something there that resonates you, or even something on the call that feels like there's a bit of a connection with, that's ignited something within you, feel free to just send me a DM. Like I really love just connecting with my clients and coaches in a personal way. I love really maintaining that intimacy in my coaching business. So I'd rather you just send me a message. Let us know what it is that you've found that's really valuable from today's session. If there's anything that has resonated and you see an opportunity here to maybe take things further together, then we'd love to just have a conversation in the DMs quickly and see where it is that you're at, what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and if it's a good fit, we'll jump on an application call, one of the life-changing application calls, and see where it is that we can best help and create something really special together. Apart from that too, I've got a few different little offers that are coming out at the moment. So something that we've touched on today, I think underlying all this is, the energetics and the leadership side of things as well. So I've got an offer at the moment called High Level Mentor, which is great no matter if you're already charging high ticket, if you want to charge high ticket, if you're not charging high ticket. It's just coming back to looking at how can we be showing up with the standards and the boundaries and with the energy and the mindset of being that person that is making 100K months within their business and is still the happiest person in the version of themselves that they can be, and the most aligned version of themselves. And it's all really around becoming more of a safe and anchored coach within your practice. So I've got that at the moment that I'm promoting to, which is going off. It's being really exciting to see everybody pouring in. And I think what I'm really most excited about that is the fact that there's just so many coaches that actually really give a damn about being a great coach, being a great mentor, being a great leader and lighthouse for the world. So that's something that people can plug into my world at the moment. But again, if you want any sort of one-on-one support, I'm more than happy to have a conversation in the DMs and see where that magic takes us.
Love this. I love that you're open to conversations. For me, that's why I love Instagram the most, because there is so easy. It's so easy
Mm,
to connect with
it
like-minded
is.
people, other entrepreneurs, and just have discussions. And not necessarily like needing to buy something, but just talking, experimenting, learning more. And this is how we met. This is how I saw your
Mhm.
powerful work online. Instagram is a great platform, and I love that you are open to free discussion.
Mm.
And I will add the link to your Instagram below. Also, I love the name of your program, like high ticket, high level mentor. I love it. Like
Mm.
it's so powerful. I love it.
Awesome. No, thank you
It's
so much for
great.
your time today, Andrew. I've really appreciated coming on to the call. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm sure, honestly, this has been actually such a powerful conversation. So much gold has come from this. I can't wait to hear the responses that come through with your audience members and also mine saying how much they've gotten out of this. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your your wisdom, your knowledge. It was such a powerful discussion that I cannot talk anymore. So sorry for for missing the words. And thank you for listening to us today. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.